Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is just going to be a quick update on Full Sail University, how it's going, and my term 2. So if you're interested, just go ahead and keep watching. So my term 1 class, I took creative presentation. I believe it's the first class that everyone at Full Sail takes, whether you're online or in person. So I took that class. I did really well. I got an A in it. It's a pretty easy class, honestly. The instructor said that it's like not a public speaking class, quote unquote, not a public speaking class, but it kind of is, honestly. Like there was a lot of overlap between what I learned in communications versus like what we talked about in creative presentation. Overall though, it was pretty easy. I would say the first couple weeks was mostly writing assignments. After that, we did have some recorded things that we needed to do. You're not presenting in front of the class though, so if you do have like stage fright or anything like that, don't worry, you're not gonna like give a speech in front of the class, but you will be required to do a couple of recorded assignments for week 3 and 4. Other than that though, really not much more I can say on that. It was easy, it was fun. I enjoyed my instructor. So yeah, we are on to term 2 now. So I wanted to go a little bit more into detail about the math assessment and the math courses. So if you are looking into the technology programs here at Full Sail, you will be required to take a math assessment. You are required, I believe, to get, I can't remember if it's an 80 or if it's a 75, but I think it's like an 80% or higher to be able to enroll into the tech program without stipulations. So meaning that you wouldn't have to take any extra classes. Discrete mathematics is like one of the first few classes that you'll take. It's not like the first class. I think normally people take it like month 3 or 4, but you will definitely take that class before you start taking your programming classes. Sorry, my iPad's updating. So you will take that class before you start taking your programming classes, and so that's why they want you to take the math assessment, because if you do need a couple extra math classes, they want to make sure to get those out of the way before you start your discrete math. For me, I got a 30, and 30 is the lowest percentage you can get on the math assessment to still be eligible for the program with the 2 classes. So the 2 classes that they'll enroll you into are pre-calculus and calculus 1. They are free classes, so you're not paying for these classes. I don't know if they're transferable, honestly. I don't think a lot of the classes from Full Sail are transferable, if we're just being honest. But I do know that for sure they're not classes that you're going to pay for, so you don't have to worry about that. For me, when I took my math assessment, and I don't necessarily recommend it, but this is how I did it, because when I talked to the like enrollment guide, I asked if I got a higher percentage, like so let's say I got the 80% that they wanted, and I still wanted to enroll in the pre-calculus and the calculus 1 classes, would I be able to do that? And her answer, I didn't really like. She was kind of like, I'm not really sure, we would have to discuss it with your counselor at that point. So I did not want to not take those classes, so I basically just didn't really read the questions and tried to do poorly on the math assessment. And the reason for that being, again, was just I wanted to make sure that I got the other 2 math classes that I wanted to take before I took discrete mathematics. So again, I wouldn't advise doing that, just because on the off chance like you get less than a 30% or something and you have to retake it, that's a really big hassle. So I wouldn't advise doing that. I would say that if you are able to find out, like if you do want to take those classes, let's say you got a higher percent on your math assessment and you still want to take those classes, reach out to your enrollment guide and see if there's a way to be able to take those classes. I just kind of wanted to make sure that I got in those classes, so that's why I did it the way I did. A couple other things to know about the math assessment is I think you're only allowed to take it twice, or maybe you're able to retake it twice. So I think you're allowed to take it a total of 3 times. If you don't at least get a 30% or higher, then you will either be asked to change your major, or I think you have to wait like 6 months to a year to be able to retake that math assessment again. I didn't think the math assessment was super difficult. I did do some of the questions on there. It's basic, like, you know, algebra. They've got some trigonometry, calculus, things like that in there. It's kind of just a combo of things. Excuse me. Oh. Normally I would be able to edit out my cough, but I don't have my video editing software, so just roll with me on this. But so yeah, it's not super difficult. I think if you've taken, you know, high school algebra, you should be able to at least get a high enough score to be able to take the other classes and still move on with the degree program. Hi, excuse me. Okay, so moving on from that, I'm currently in term 2, week 2 of term 2. We just started week 2, I think on Sunday or Monday, and things are a little hectic right now for me. I will warn you ahead of time that the pre-calculus math class is a lot. There's a lot of assignments, there's a lot of problems, there's a lot of lessons that you have to go through, so make sure you're giving yourself enough time to be able to complete those things. The way that this pre-calculus class works is that it's a pass-fail class, and so I don't know if I'll actually get an actual letter grade with it. What I do know though is that we have to have at least an 85% in order to be considered passing. Anything below an 85%, it's an automatic fail and you have to retake the class. And it's an automatic reschedule. So with that being said, I'm definitely really nervous. I would just say do your best. That is what I'm doing right now. If you have any questions, reach out to your instructor. Utilize your resources, YouTube, there's like Khan Academy, there's a bunch of different math resources out there that can help you with this class and other math classes in the future. And the other thing to know about this particular class, so usually assignments are due at the end of the week on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With this class, however, our assignments are all of our assignments. So instead of having assignments due weekly, all of our assignments are due at once on the last Friday of your last week. So week 4, that Friday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is when all the assignment work is due. Now this is just for this pre-calculus class. The calculus 1 class may be set up like that too. I don't know because I haven't taken it yet, obviously. So just keep in mind, if you are a planner or you're a little bit of a procrastinator like me, make sure to plan to give yourself enough time to do all the assignments, because it's kind of one of those dangerous territories, right? Because there's not like really a deadline, like you have a deadline but not really. So just don't make the mistake that I did and not look at anything until week 2, because that's what I'm doing right now. I was really busy last week. I was working on my other class, actually, my TEM class, and I'm behind on pre-calculus. So just, you know, try to get your work done in the week that it's supposed to be done. If you can, work ahead, because that'll definitely be better rather than turning it in late. With this particular class, I don't know if you are able to actually get an extension or turn things in late. I'm not sure how that works. So if you can, just do your best to try to turn everything in on time. I know for like regular classes, like my creative presentation class, I think it was like 5 or 10 points every day that your assignment was late was docked off your overall total. So you know, just keep that in mind. It's costly to turn your assignments in late. So other than that, my other class that I'm taking technology entertainment, I think it's like technology entertainment media or something like that. It's a pretty interesting class. Basically what it is a lot of writing, a lot of research. They're just kind of like, it's confirmation that you're in the right degree program that you want to be in. So it gives you an opportunity kind of to explore other fields, really get a lot of information in your particular field. It just kind of makes you sit down and research it. If you've already done that, this should be pretty easy to do. I've done that, not so much for mobile dev in particular, but just computer science as a whole. So I'm not really struggling too much in that class. I will say though that it is time consuming, which is something that I wasn't anticipating, because you have to do research and you have to cite sources and you have to do a million other things. So it's not difficult necessarily, it's just time consuming. So keep that in mind with your TEM class if you are going to be taking that in the next month or so. And other than that, I think that's really it. I don't really have a whole lot of complaints with Full Sail right now. I will say that there are some things that don't quite sit well with me. Like, I don't really like the fact that I had to take a creative presentation class when I've already taken public speaking, and they kind of disguise it as something else when it's actually a public speaking. I mean, but overall, like, I don't regret the time that I spent in the class because it was a lot of fun and I did enjoy it, but it's just more about money, you know. At the end of the day, it's like, I shouldn't have had to pay for that, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. I've done it. I guess the only other thing is I'm having issues with my schedule. So this probably won't be the case for you guys, but for me, I did have some transfer credits, and the way that everything had transferred over, it made my schedule really goofy. So like this term, I'm taking pre-calculus and the TEM class, the technology and media. But then next semester, I'm taking calculus 1 and discrete mathematics. And when I tried to get that like changed, and I spoke to the counselor or whatever, they sent me an email back saying that like they couldn't put, they couldn't separate I forget exactly what they said, but they said that they couldn't change my discrete mathematics. Like, basically, if I wanted to separate calculus 1 and discrete mathematics, I'd have to move calculus 1 towards the end of my degree, and that just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me because calculus 1 was supposed to be taken before discrete mathematics. So I don't understand how I'm taking them in the same term. So I'm not super happy with that, but hopefully your guys' experience isn't the same. From my understanding, what happened is like I had some classes that transferred over, so I didn't have to take some of the general ed courses that you take like your first 4 months. So like I didn't have to take like psychology of play and English Comp 1. I don't have to take those because I've already taken them. And so because of that, I get to graduate a couple months sooner, but I also, my schedule is all jacked up with my math courses. So it's I don't know. I'm still happy I'm doing it. I'm still happy to be at Full Sail. I don't have any regrets yet. So, I mean, that's really all I have to say about that. If you do have any questions about Full Sail, or just any general questions, or anything particular that you want to know about tech, go ahead and just leave those in the comments down below, and I will be happy to answer anything that I can. Keep in mind, I'm going there for computer science, so I'm not going to know a lot about the other programs, so like film or graphic design or something like that. I may not know all the answers, but I'm more than happy to share what I do know. So alrighty, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and head back to work, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys.